Getting ahead at work can be a complex maze, but making moves often comes down to tackling our own fears. So says our guest today, who says she has ways to crack the fear code.
Oh, I like this. Let's crack a code. Joining us, founder and CEO of Be Fearless and host of the Dare to Be Fearless podcast, Alexa Curtis in the house. Good morning.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Your first time on the weekend show?
First time on the weekend show.
She says the vibe is different.
It's a vibe. It's a fearless vibe.
Fearless.
We hope so.
Full circle. You say two factors power most fears. What are they? How should we tackle them?
So most people are afraid of what people think about them and rejection. Number one tip is anytime you're rejected, always ask somebody with a simple sentence, is there something that I could have achieved or done better on this particular phone call or sales call? I can almost guarantee you every single time I've been rejected, it's due to finances or timing.
Right.
Don't take it personal.
Don't take it personally. I think that's an important tip because it's easy to take things like this very much to heart. So let's talk about emailing. How do you crack the fear code to reach out on an email for the first time?
I love cold emailing. I love cold calling. I can tell you it's one of my favorite things. And the reason why is because every single time, number one tip, every single time I reach out to someone, I always have a way afterwards to get a yes. So to overcome the fear of rejection, right, have something simple. Maybe you're asking a friend for coffee, whatever it is afterwards, so that you can up your confidence if you're rejected. And then my second thing is people don't realize the importance of getting to the bulk of your email in the first few sentences.
Good point.
Yes,
some people,
little words.
No little words, right? You have 2-3 seconds to impress someone. Get right to it. And the way I like to do this is I have one sentence. I'll go on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever it is, and find a need that this company has. Marketing, sales, something I know I can bring to them. And I say to them, I noticed on your website or your social media, you are missing X. I have a solution. Do you want to get on a call? Boom, right to the point.
Nice, because most times it'll be like, yeah, if they're interested, right?
It's like, I'm Alexa Curtis, I do this, and then at the bottom, do you want to get on the call?
Day as well.
I'm too tired. No.
People might not even get there.
Yeah,
exactly.
You know. And generationally speaking, I find this next generation, then the generation after, which is, I'm raising little kids now. So with people under 40, they struggle with these cold calls. You mentioned the calls. What is your advice? What are some tips that you can offer people with cold calling?
That's a great point. And I mean, I am Gen Z, but I come at this from an angle of having experience in both worlds. So number one, look, if you're over 40, you need to realize a lot of times when you're on the phone with somebody, they may be Gen Z. You need to meet them on their level because a lot of people who are answering the phone may be 28, 29, 30. So again, finding that sweet spot, even if you're over 40, you may need to do a little bit more digging than usual. Go on LinkedIn, look at the CEO, look at the people on the marketing team. And then it's, again, that super simple solution with, if you're rejected, number one, don't take it personally because it's just business. And number two, okay, now what are you going to do to get a yes pretty fast, up your confidence again, move on.
When do you think phone calls are important? Because I find people avoid the phone nowadays if they can. Many people I've found would rather deal with things via text or email.
I love the phone. You know, I get most of my deals as a 26-year-old on the phone. And you know what I find? Every time I call somebody on the phone who's over the age of 35, they say verbatim, thank you so much for picking up the phone. Nobody calls anymore. And so that is really how you set yourself apart in business. Be the 1%. It's uncomfortable, but practice in the mirror. And look, if you want to sit there and be scared to call, somebody's going to take your job, unfortunately. Somebody's going to do the work that you're not doing. So if you want to stay in the 99%, stay in the 99%. But if you want to set yourself apart, you got to call.
Practice in the mirror. I like that.
Yeah, and a lot of our viewers, you know, they're not Gen Z per se. So this is like for parents, for caretakers, talking about for the next generation. These are tips you can offer to the next generation. Pick up the phone, maybe practicing. I saw on Instagram recently there was this mom who had, and she recorded the whole thing and had her son sit there and call his dentist to make a dentist appointment. He was like, oh, and she made him go through the process, and it was a struggle. But that's an important thing to pass down to this next generation, wouldn't you say, to help with the fear?
Yeah, and I also think, look, if you're the parent role and then you have this child, we're so in this age range, 20 to 30, always on the phone. And so that's the problem, even with dating, right? You're so used to what's next. Whereas the generation 35 plus, they have the experience with the face-to-face interaction.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a great talking point. It brings up a great conversation at dinner that can also go into other topics surrounding how do you feel when you're on social media. That can even go deeper into bullying, right? And really all it goes back is to sales and confidence. So it's a nice conversation for both parents and kids to have together.
Well, all great tips this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're helping us overcome our fears of cold calling. For more on fearless living, check out the Dare to Be Fearless podcast, the Stay Fearless or Die newsletter, and you can find Alexa online at lifeunfilteredwithalexa.com.